Happy Tuesday. How you doing? Well, back to the VTH today, and again Thursday. I'd much rather have my Artemis again this week, but you know, I saw him Sunday. I stopped with my daughter for Mother's Day, give her her flowers. Anyway, a few things. I'll tell you, man. Every now and then I take a look at the feed on here. What's trending, whatever they call it. Yeah, I know I need a haircut and a shave. Auntie Billy's been on my ass again. Warm weather's coming. It's time to start being Captain Caveman to look like a civilized human being, at least for part of the year, right? Uh, and I tell you, every now and then I take, what do they call it on here? What's trending, recommended, suggested. I tell you, more and more and more fucking junk channels. Unbelievable. This one guy came up, I looked. First I thought it was, who Rob Zombie is? You had a singer, you had a band, White Zombie. I actually liked a lot of their music. Dragula, Never Gonna Stop. He had some good stuff, even though it sounded all the same, Pretty heavy, I liked it. And then he got into making movies. He did a remake of the Munsters movie that was fucking terrible. But hey, I guess he has the money to do it. Some guy thought it was him. He looks just like him. But even grungier. Looks like he hasn't washed his matted dreadlocks in about 30 fucking years. Face all dirty. His beard looks even worse than mine. And mine don't look that great. His looks worse than mine. This will be coming off soon. And he's showing off his car collection. His backyard is loaded with it's a junkyard, pretty much. People are taking their junkyards and they're making them out to be their car collections. What it comes down to. They're gutted, potted out, smashed up. You fucking name it. I wonder how many actually run. Whatever. And he's into antics. I actually watched the video. I said, I gotta see this. He's on a fucking fucked up snowmobile. And he's making believe he's revving it up. And I was like, what the fuck? He calls himself Mr. Rust or some shit like that. And there were many others, many others. It's like an epidemic of junk on here, Because I don't keep up with the No-Show Nationals and Power Tour and all that stuff. I guess you can fill me in on a few things. What I understand, the Power Tour is earlier in the season. Is it May or June now? Something like that. No-Show Nationals is later in the year. August, September, October, somewhere around there. And any more word from Sanford about the Power Tour? I know last I had heard he was going to take his Charger that we were supposed to take last year. Then again, like I said, he doesn't like to wander too far from home without a driver's license. A lot can happen out on the road. And from what I understand, it's like 1,000 miles. They travel through a couple of states or something. The cops in other states may not be as forgiving as, the cops around his little nest egg in Tennessee that they're like tired of arresting people. They've arrested him twice already. They just write tickets now. Unless you get into an accident, you do something really boneheaded, Which I'm surprised Sanford hasn't done by now. So he won't take his chances. Like he had Al take the MC Hammer car. Well, after all, Al pretty much built, 85% of it, including the tilt nose. That whole car was wrong right from the get-go. That was a vehicle that he had a Ram Charger. I don't know if you recall. He even tried to scam his fucking pickle sniffers on trying to make money off of them. I do remember hearing about that. He bought an old fucked up Ram Charger. Had a 318 in it. He said the engine was good, transmission was good, rear end was good. He said, Brian, this thing was rotted halfway up the fucking fenders and door panels. It was all rotted like it had been submerged in salt water halfway up for a long time, then pulled out and allowed to rust and rot. Thing was a fucking mess. Interior, all fucking chewed up. Wires all hanging out like a rat's nest from under the fucking dash. It was pure fucking trash. But he said he bought it for $800 because it was worth it for the engine and transmission and rear end. And then he pulls the engine, pulls the transmission, and puts it back up for sale for the same $800 to offer it up to his pickle sniffers. When he took the only thing that was good out of it, and he went to pawn the junk off on someone else to get all his money back, I'm not sure if that was the same frame. I heard it was, because no one wanted to buy that thing. That's the same thing that he took the frame, he shortened it, he cut it, but he had somebody go there and weld it back together for him. I guess he didn't trust his own welding skills with a frame. That's pretty important with a vehicle. You need a solid frame that's not going to fall apart on you, when you're driving it. He had some guy go there and weld it up. And that's the frame he used for the MC Hammer car that he dropped that fucking four-door Valiant body on it. To me, it looks ridiculous with those fucking wheels sticking out. You know, to me, it looks fucking ridiculous. But that frame right from the get-go, it's a very heavy truck frame. It's not a car frame. That's not a frame that's, you know, intended or meant to be raced. You're not going to get the proper weight transfer to the rear axle to plant that power to the ground with those tires. You know, it's all wrong right from the ground up. Right at the bottom floor of that thing is all wrong. You know, all we did was build that 383, said it made 500 horsepower. You know, hey, it looks cool with a tunnel ram and dual quads. You got to give it that. Any engine with a tunnel ram, dual quads, chrome valve covers, and headers, oh, they look fucking cool, you know. Should have made 500 horsepower. And the best that thing's been able to run is what, somewhere around a 14, right? Okay. And that car's not that heavy. It's pretty much gutted, you know, what, 3,000 pounds? You know, Al took it on the power tour for him, and we know what happened with that, right? Al got a good kick in the teeth, you know, got kicked to the curb and thrown under a bus on top of it. Sanford gave him the triple play, you know. And then the year after that, he was going to take the Charger. He had that dude from Canada that was going to come down. Sanford was sucking his nut. Why these guys are in there sucking each other's nuts on their channels to try to bring attention to each other, try to, you know, leech subs off the other person? I tell you, man, you know, that's what they do on here. These guys think they're friends. These guys will sell their own fucking mother to get subs and views to make money. They're not your friends. They just use each other. There is no honor amongst thieves, okay? I'll tell you that right now. Guy was going to come down, and he was all buddy-buddy with him, and all of a sudden, you know, this guy wants nothing to do with Sanford anymore. Same way Dallas, all the rest of them. You know, Sanford goes through friends like shit through a fucking goose, man. Anyway, car wasn't ready. He had last-minute excuse. Or was it somebody, he didn't have anyone to babysit his dog. And then the next time it was, my dog is dying. I got to be here so my dog can die in my arms. If I'm wrong, correct me, but that's what I heard he said. You know? So we didn't make it to that power tour. And then it was, the car's got last-minute problems. I had the car for 10 years. I never, you know, these had never happened before. He didn't drive the fucking thing for 10 years. Sat there for 10 fucking years. He didn't even fix that rear quarter. He had that other guy. That was a Super Ron Osborne that went there. Fixed all the quarter, fixed the fucking frame and shit. All Sanford did was, take a Sawzall, cut the frame, it was kinked and crimped, jacked it up. You know, he said he was going to shove a piece of steel in there and weld it up. He's going to shim a fucking damaged frame, you know. Okay, whatever. You know, and then that excuse is, the cars are not ready. From what I understand, that thing he said at one time, nothing electrical worked on it. The car was a fucking flood car submerged in the water. That shit does a number on wires and harnesses and couplings and electronics and gauges, speedometer, gas speed. It does a fucking number on it, you know. Anyway. So I had heard a little while back he was going to take it himself in the power tour. Any more word on that? It's coming up. Let's have a show of hands. How many of you think Sanford's going to make it to the power tour with the Charger? Another show of hands. How many of you think he'll either ignore it, not talk about it, hoping nobody mentions it to him and says, hey, I thought you were going in the power tour? Or third, how many of you think he will mention it because he's kind of forced to, but he'll say once again some excuse, there's something wrong with the car. Or else, man, I'd love to be going, but damn it. Shucks, again, the car, something happened to the car. Unfucking believable. Fucking junk channels on here, man. Oh, and by the way, in case you're wondering, I'm giving Jabba a little break. Last time in the studio, he was talking about how good his health is now. Since he pissed out 40 pounds of water, taking 8 different medications a day. His blood pressure is back down. He's back at a normal weight of 285 pounds for someone that's 5'7", you know. So he's doing good. So the last thing I want to do is get him all riled up. You know what I mean? Then he can't piss. Gains back all that 40 pounds of water weight. You know what I'm saying? He goes off his fucking nut again. And then he loses focus on getting to work, you know, on getting that headliner in the Bel Air and adjusting those valves finally the right way, fixing the brakes, fixing the fuel line, fixing the vacuum leak, fixing the carburetor leak. Maybe fix those 2 shattered windows on it too, and get to work on the olds. Get that 4-barrel intake on it with a 4-barrel carburetor. Put brakes in there, put headers on there. Do all the metal fabrication, cutting out lower quarters and rusting. Doing all new metal fabrication and then paint it with a rattle can of Rust-Oleum flat black primer. Spray paint, you know what I mean? He's got a lot on his plate besides, no fucking job, no money coming in. He's got court cases coming up. The guy's got a lot on his plate, so I don't want to add anything more to it. You know what I mean? So that's why I'll give him a break for a few days here. We see what happens. But besides all that, I tell you, man, every now and then I look at everything that's going on. I scroll and I scroll and I scroll and I scroll, and it's all random shit. And a lot of politics creeping into things here from both sides. I'm in the middle and I like it that way. I have no allegiance to either party, and I like it this way. I can think for myself rather than being brainwashed into believing what this news network wants me to believe or that news network wants me to believe. No, it's okay. I'll just look at what's going on, see what's being presented as actual facts, and I make my own decisions for myself. That's me, to each their own. And what's with this fucking TikTok thing, man? I keep hearing about that. Auntie Billy's got Facebook. I don't deal with Facebook. She's laughing. Look at this. It's all these fucking young girls acting like they're auditioning to be a fucking pole dancer in a strip club, wearing little to nothing, 5-6 second clips, showing their ass, shaking their ass, showing their titties. Anything for fucking attention these days. Anything for fucking attention. Sometimes I think we have an attention-starved society in general. Everybody wants their 15 minutes of fame. Anyway, I got to get to the VTH here a little bit. So, have a great day. Have fun. Stay safe.